President Trump made his rounds through the deep blue state of New York yesterday, where he made U.S. history, becoming the first president to make a transaction using Bitcoin. And boy, oh boy, is he proud of it.
I think it's a great place. I just made the first transaction in Bitcoin.
Join us now, co-owner of that crypto-themed bar, PubKey, Thomas Pacchia. Thomas, good to see you. Thanks for being with us. So what does it mean to have the former President Trump come into your bar and make a payment with crypto? How cool is that?
Yeah, it was really cool. It was a Bitcoin transaction. It was surreal. We're still processing, I would say. He was incredibly kind and generous with his time. He wanted to make sure he saw everybody, bought some hamburgers, transaction went through. What's not to like?
So, Thomas, there was a pretty big crowd there, about 65 guests or so. Some of them Democrats, I would guess, but after President Trump left, were they still Democrats?
So, look, Bitcoin is a protocol, and by nature, it's apolitical. Bitcoin businesses, though, are subject to the winds of politics a little bit. There's clear guidelines for what President Trump would do if elected with his Bitcoin policy, with his crypto policy. We don't have as much information out of the Harris camp just yet. We're still waiting for details on what a crypto reset would look like. A continuation of the current administration's policy would not be great for Bitcoin businesses in America, so we hope there's a change there. And I think everybody there is largely a supporter of Bitcoin. This was about meeting the Bitcoin community, hearing from them, and showing appreciation towards them as well, recognition.
But again, as we poll, we look at the economy, we got immigration, you got abortion. Bitcoin and crypto regulation doesn't top the charts, but I have to imagine if you care about this issue, you have to go, I want a president and an administration that's going to support the freedom of this space, which is growing. We want America to be the home of it and for it. And again, you're right. The Biden-Harris administration has, I would argue, been over-regulating and trying to crush the industry, as opposed to Trump, who's come out and said, listen, I'm going to support you. So are you going to have Democrats who support crypto coming out and go, Donald Trump's my guy?
So I think that there are a lot of single-issue voters here. They're younger, millennial, Gen Z. About 40 million people, I think, in America own some form of a crypto asset. It's about self-sovereignty. It's about financial freedom. Bitcoin miners, lots of folks, lots of different areas of the country, Republican, Democrat, Independent, care about this issue. And I think that we have heard from people that treat it as a single issue voter issue. So it'll probably play out that way as well.
What was your perception of President Trump, him being there? Because he stayed much longer than you thought, right, Thomas?
Yeah, much longer. It was a packed house. It's a small bar. We're going to have to get a bigger bar at some point. But he wanted to make his way through to the back and make sure he said hi to everybody. Very generous with his time. I know staffers were trying to move him along to get to the rally. I think he got there on time, which is great. He was also on Fox News just before. He's got stamina, that's for sure. It's pretty impressive. I was exhausted. By the time he left, I was done.
Stamina and personality. Thomas Pacchia, thank you for being with us. We appreciate it.
Great to see you.
Good luck with the bar. What an awesome theme.
Yeah. And
thank you. Come see us.
I would love to.
Yeah, and cheers for inviting President Trump.